Tony's story's not over. There's so many good matchups. And one win, he's right there.
Well, how about
also,
this?
you have to take into consideration the fact that he didn't really get a full chance to game plan for a guy as dangerous as Justin and prepare for him.
Defeats in the unpredictable and dangerous sports of mixed martial arts are entirely normal, and there's nothing surprising about it. Usually, a fighter just needs to take a short break to reassess everything, and soon they come back with more victories and continue to grow. However, in the world of MMA, there have been cases where fighters couldn't recover after their first long-lasting defeat and never returned to their previous level, and some even ended their careers on a very sad note. In today's video, we have prepared a compilation of 10 fighters who went on a downward spiral after a defeat. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, also like and leave a comment in 4 words. Now, let's get started. Number 10. Thomas Almeida.
Of course, I always put pressure on myself to win, and this is not going to be different, you know. I want to win. I'm going to go there winning. There is pressure on this, and like all the fights, you know.
Thomas Almeida, a native of Brazil, began his professional career over 10 years ago, in May 2011. For a long time, this rising prospect confidently climbed the rankings, building an impressive record and gaining valuable experience. By June 2014, Almeida had achieved a remarkable record of 17 consecutive victories without a single defeat, which was quite impressive, especially for his age. On November the 8th, he made his debut in the strongest league and secured a convincing victory over Tim Gorman. Then he added 3 more early round wins to his overall tally. Thus, by May 2016, Thomas could boast 21 wins and 0 losses. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, another young contender emerged, whom we will discuss today, Cody Garbrandt.
Really happy, really honored. Cody's a great fighter, and I'm ready to give on a show.
The audience was truly anticipating this clash, despite the future champion No Love having significantly less experience with only 9 professional fights to his name. Spectators were looking forward to the showdown between 2 undefeated prospects in the main event of Fight Night 88. And they were not disappointed. The fight was excellent, but it didn't end in favor of the Brazilian. Garbrandt knocked out Almeida in the 2nd minute and 53 seconds of the opening round. The damage inflicted by Cody was so severe that Thomas was taken to the hospital for a brain examination.
Yeah, it's part of the game, you know. Cody's a great opponent, a great fighter, but I'll be back stronger, you know. I'm training a lot for that fight, and it's part of the game, you know. I'm really sad about it, but it's part, man.
6 months later, the Brazilian returned to the winning path, but compared to what followed, this victory seemed like firing blanks. After defeating Albert Morales, Almeida started a streak of losses. First it was Jimmy Rivera, then Rob Font, followed by Jonathan Martinez, and ultimately the current champion Sean O'Malley. Since March 2021, Almeida has been on a 22-5 record, and he is no longer a part of the UFC, not rushing to make a comeback. Cody Garbrandt's victory forever changed Thomas and cast a rather uncertain shadow over his future. Number 9. Ben Askren.
Tough go.
2 things happen. 1, big time off of competing. 2, competing in ONE FC against is not the same level of competition, I don't believe, as even he fought in Bellator.
Not even close.
And then 3, the guy's got a up hip.
He's also older.
Ben Askren's professional journey is well known to anyone with even a slight interest in mixed martial arts. We've talked about this guy multiple times before, so let's briefly go over the key points. The American fighter's career began in February 2009. For 8 years, Askren competed outside the strongest league and showed no particular desire to join it. By November 2017, Ben had amassed an 18-0 record, won the Bellator Championship and defended it 4 times. He also accomplished the same feat in ONE FC, defending his title 3 times. Then he took a 16-month hiatus, during which he actively claimed that the competition in the strongest league was beneath him. The opportunity to prove this came in March 2019 at UFC 235 when he faced the ruthless Robbie Lawler. As you may recall, in the bout with the relentless Berserker, Askren managed to reinvent himself several times but ultimately secured victory thanks to the referee's error.
And then I got one other question. Hey Dana, is that really the best you got? Bring him, baby.
Now what happened next doesn't need much explanation.
Man, you know, I remember being in the cage with him. I don't really remember the flying knee. And then when I can recall, I remember everything. I was like, oh, I lost to George Masvidal. This freaking sucks.
Subsequently, Ben Askren never quite recovered from that defeat. His subsequent loss to Damian Maia and retirement from the sport only underscored this, and his performance with a first-round knockout by a YouTuber, Jake Paul, ultimately ended the American's career, someone who was previously considered a potential threat to Khabib. Number 8. Darren Till.
You know, make a bit of money, get the body healthy, and then whether the UFC like it or not, get back to the UFC. That's still my main goal and focus. So we'll see.
Darren Till, an English mixed martial artist and former UFC title contender, began his professional career in February 2013. In just over 2 years, the Liverpool native compiled 12 wins and caught the attention of the premier promotion. Under the Strongest Leagues banner, he continued to compete and expand his list of victories. For his talents, the UFC rewarded the young Scouser with the opportunity to challenge for the welterweight championship. His opponent was Tyron Woodley, whom we'll also discuss in today's video.
It just means 15 years. Like, I was 10, I was like 10, 11, and I was a kid. I didn't know nothing. I still don't know nothing. But I just knew one thing, I wanted to fight and I wanted to be the best. When you're the welterweight champion, you are the best. That man over there is the best fighter in the world right now. Regardless of what I sit here and chat shit about, what anyone else says, he is the champion. So, when you're the champion, you are the best fighter in the world. You're number one. You're above number one. Number one's there. You're higher. So, all in 15 years, forget Liverpool, forget everything, will have been worth it to beat that man across from me.
Despite the promotion's belief, fan support and Dana White's prayers, Darren Till suffered a defeat, and it was a very brutal and early one. Usually, the not-so-hasty and cautious Tyron Woodley finished the Englishman in less than 2 rounds, and that marked the beginning of a series of other losses.
What's happening, everyone? You don't always get what you want in this life. It's tough. I'm 29 now. I've been at the top of the sport since 2017. I entered in the UFC in 2015. I'm doing this video because I feel like you should do it. I should do it now, the right times now. I'm not retiring, this is not a retirement speech. I'm 29, that would be stupid to retire, but you know, I'm on a bit of a losing skid at the moment, I really am. I'm not finding me right ways and stuff like that. It's crazy because, you know, when I'm in the gym sparring with all these best guys around the world, I'm in my element, and then when I step there in the octagon, I just can't seem to put things together. Then I have moments, like in the second round, where I'm untouchable, but then, you know, certain things happen, and I just want to say to everyone there, whether you love me or hate me, I'm sorry. I tried to come in and put a show on. I never cut no corners. I do rarely train. Maybe I train too much. I train like a man demented. The past 13 weeks I've given me all, and I've always given me all to this sport. So now I don't know what to do properly, but I'm just gonna have I think I'm gonna have a little bit of time off from the UFC. I don't know, and just rethink stuff. I'm not retiring. I want to fight. You know, I want to fight soon next year. But I just want to spend Christmas now with my family. have a good time with my friends and everyone who supports me properly, my team back home, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed the fight. I know it was a bit of a war. Well done to Dariush, he pulled out the back to it.
One victory by split decision and 5 losses in one-sided fashion since 2018. Till needs time to regroup. That's all that can be said for now. Number 7. Cody Garbrandt.
You know, hats off to TJ. You know, he battled back, you know, from losing his title, and he was a hungry man, but I still am the better fighter in there, and I'll show that in the rematch.
Cody Garbrandt has all the potential to become a superstar in the strongest league and build a legacy on par with the notorious Irishman. He began his career in December 2012. By October 2014, No Love had collected 5 first-round knockouts and set his sights on the premier promotion. Over the next 2 years, he doubled his record, adding 4 more knockouts and a unanimous decision from the judges. Striking looks, sharp remarks, bold antics, and a 10-0 record and a reputation as a knockout artist allowed Cody to stake his claim for the championship.
Yeah, it's everything I dreamed of. I've, you know, pictured facing Dominic for quite some time since I was a teenager, and you know, I'm 2 days away from that.
In the co-main event of UFC 207, Garbrandt stopped the Dominator and became the bantamweight champion. It seemed like there was a new king in the division, and many believed it, except for TJ Dillashaw.
Everyone's got fans, everyone's got enemies, you know, so they're either gonna love you or they're gonna hate you. It's the name of the game, so you just gotta enjoy it. You gotta soak it up. I appreciate the good, I appreciate the bad, man.
The conflict between 2 former teammates changed Cody Garbrandt on the evening of November the 4th, 2017. No Love underestimated TJ's skills and paid for it with a knockout in the 2nd round. And then things only got worse. Cody's jaw shattered like glass, crumbling with each subsequent hit in his following fights. A victory over Rafael Assunção briefly gave us hope for a comeback, but history clearly showed it was a fleeting spark that didn't improve Garbrandt's ability to take a punch.
Not even really acknowledging me this whole camp, not even saying my name. He called me Steve.
Yes, he called you Steve.
That was the build-up, you know.
That's crazy.
Took me back to when Muhammad Ali fought Sonny Liston, when he was calling him Cassius Clay, and the fighter said, "What's my name? What's my name?" So I was, you know, pretty relatable moments when I was hitting him, and he now remembers my name. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Number 6. Tyron Woodley.
Tyron Woodley, he really is the chosen one. We chose him to get his ass beat. 5-time UFC champion, explosive, knockout power. That's all cool, but none of that matters Sunday night. And I'm sending him into retirement, turning him into a meme, and people will see, oh my gosh, this kid can fight. He's got skills. He can take a punch. That gas tank is nice. That inside fighting is nice. That body work is nice. That jab is nice. That 1-2 is nice. I might come out southpaw. I haven't even shown that yet.
As promised, next up is the former Strongest League welterweight champion. Tyron Woodley's journey in the fight game began in February 2009. After 4 years of competing, the chosen one made his way to the premier organization with a record of 11-1. He transitioned to the UFC from Strikeforce, and despite not being able to defeat Nate Marquardt, Tyron Woodley performed well in his new home. By July 2016, he earned a title opportunity and knocked out Robbie Lawler in the 1st round. For 2 years, the chosen one held the status of champion and defended his title 3 times. But when Kamaru Usman appeared on the radar, everything went downhill.
You know, Kamaru came out, he brought it, you know. And sometimes you have those fights in Octagon where you feel like it's a bad dream. You want to throw punches, but they won't leave your face. You see the opportunities, but you don't take them. He came out prepared. He had a great game of taking shots, punches to takedowns, great control. He was really heavy on top. So, you know, hats off to him. I have no excuses. I was prepared for this fight, and it's just sometimes you have those nights where feel like a bad dream. So shout out to him. Hopefully we can run this back. I had the title. This is my 5th title defense. I would love to run it back with him. Come out here and have a different performance.
It was the swan song of Tyron Woodley, both within the UFC and outside it. Subsequently, the former champion suffered 3 consecutive losses and departed from the strongest league roster. But the final nail in his coffin was his feud with the YouTuber Jake Paul.
I'm going to show on Sunday that getting a UFC championship doesn't mean in the world of boxing.
Woodley first lost by a split decision, and then he visited the Wonderland in the 6th round. Number 5. Chris Weidman.
To have that much love, to have that many people around the world, kind of have a little understanding of what I've been through and what it took to get here, and how they really came out hard to support me. Even in a fight that I lost was really awesome for me. So.
Chris Weidman is the guy who at one point put an end to Anderson Silva's era of dominance by first knocking him out and then becoming the catalyst for one of the most gruesome injuries in the history of combat sports. But his achievements don't stop there. The American's career was very bright and eventful despite his modest statistics compared to many in this compilation. Moreover, after winning the championship gold, he defended it 3 times in a row and delivered performances that earned him Performance of the Night bonuses. By December 2013, Chris was considered unbeatable until he shared the octagon with Luke Rockhold.
It's Luke's night, at the end of the day, I'm going home. I got a beautiful family who loves me. I got fans who love me. God is still good. I'll be back.
As much as we'd like to say he was right, unfortunately he wasn't. A 4-round war with Rockhold took a toll on Weidman's health. Subsequently, he suffered 2 more losses in early stoppages. In July 2017, the veteran defeated Kelvin Gastelum with a triangle choke and then earned 2 more knockouts, an out cold and a technical knockout. As for the injury he got in a bout with Uriah Hall, which closed the chapter with a leg fracture similar to Spider's, there's nothing more to say. Spending another 2 years recovering, Chris tried to make a comeback at the age of 39 facing Brad Tavares, but he lost by a unanimous decision. Despite all the claims, he's unlikely to return to his previously high level. Number 4. Dominic Reyes.
That was my first go around, I see. My first time around the UFC. I made it to the top. I did my thing. I got another shot, and then it didn't work out. So now I get another chance at it. And that's exciting for me because I'm going to do it.
In February 2020, the combat sports audience witnessed firsthand what Dominic Reyes was capable of when he reached for the title and went face to face with none other than Jon Jones. Prior to that, the devastating fighter had been competing since December 2014 and entered the strongest league in June 2017 on a streak of 6 consecutive wins. It took the same number of victories for Dominic to break into the top of the light heavyweight division and, as an undefeated prospect, demand his chance at the title.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait. It's like I've done all the work. I've worked my ass off. I did everything I'm supposed to do. Now I just get to go. It's like, all right, guys, practice is over. We get to play now. It's like, hell yeah, let's go. Like, that's how I'm feeling. I feel loose. I feel ready to go. I'm ready to sprint. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it.
No matter what anyone says or what opinions people broadcast, the reigning light heavyweight champion at the time, Jon Jones, secured the win by unanimous decision. It's just a fact, an indisputable truth, and this victory by Jones became Dominic Reyes' first defeat in his professional career and, at the same time, a turning point.
Man, I do feel disrespected, One of the judges had it 49-46. Like, who are you? I might want to have a word with you. But other than that, man,
I know I won that fight. I know I won that fight. I was in that fight. I don't have to watch the replay. I was there. I made John Jones look like just a man. I brought the fight to him, and man.
The loss to Jones in a close fight seemingly hit Dominic hard because his career trajectory immediately plummeted. There were no gradual transitions. In September, he fought Jan Blachowicz and lost to him in the second round at the 4-minute 36 mark. Then the same thing happened with Jiří Procházka, but this time in 4-minute 29. And his latest defeat at the moment came from Ryan Spann, just 80 seconds into the first round. Dominic's career seemingly crumbled before our eyes, and it's doubtful he'll be able to return to his previous level. Number 3. Ronda Rousey.
I don't even think she wants to fight. I think at a certain point in time, you have enough money in the bank, you have enough notoriety and fame, and she's got a lot of aspirations outside the sport. She's married now. Who knows? She might want to start a family.
You're right. You're right.
Ronda Rousey, the best female fighter of her time, the most dominant and intimidating champion among women, the terror of wrists and elbows, a true limb hunter, and ambassador of the armbar in the combat sports industry. We could talk about this all day long, and none of our statements would be deceitful or baseless. In January 2011, Dana White told a journalist that there would be no female representatives in the UFC.
When are we going to see women in the UFC, man? Never? Never?
But in February 2013, Ronda headlined her first tournament and earned her first official defense of the Strongest League title by defeating Miesha Tate with her signature move. With Rousey's arrival, the UFC gained significant popularity, funds, and media attention. This is truly her accomplishment that is beyond dispute and criticism. She helped elevate the sport to a new level and in process achieved unprecedented success in terms of sporting, financial, and media aspects.
Sometimes it's so surreal, you know, I feel like it's like a dream or something, but every single time I get back in there, it seems like it was just yesterday that I was there, and I don't know, it's like, it's hard to describe. I don't know, sometimes I'm not even sure this is my life.
But nothing lasts forever, especially in the world of mixed martial arts.
In the medical room, and I was like down in the corner, I was sitting in the corner, and I was like, what am I anymore if I'm not this? And I was literally sitting there and like thinking about killing myself, and that exact second I'm like, I'm nothing. I'm like, what do I do anymore? And no one gives a shit about me anymore without this. And
Her first loss to Holly Holm shook Rousey so much that she, who was accustomed to looking down on her opponents, genuinely experienced heavy trauma for a long time. And the subsequent loss to Amanda Nunes set Ronda into retirement as a member of the Hall of Fame. Number 2. Tony Ferguson.
Nobody spoke up for me to get a title fight with 12-fight win streak. Years in the making. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Step on somebody's toes? Did I speak up for myself? I was so bad, right? This is funny to me.
The sad story of Tony Ferguson is still hotly debated in the media space. It's still an open wound in the industry that can't seem to heal because El Cucuy continues to fervently believe in his chances of a comeback and regularly shares training footage and posts filled with confidence and faith in a miracle. In reality, there aren't many words to convey everything that has already been said multiple times. This man was a ruthless, cruel, and violence-hungry boogeyman who fed on the pain and energy of his opponents, devouring their souls along with their health. He never rested on his laurels and constantly sought new paths for professional growth. No obstacles could hold him back, quite literally. Legends filled with genuine love from fans all over the world will be crafted about his willpower, mentality, and fighting spirit. But at the same time, everyone will remember that the strongest league let him go in favor of superstars like Conor and Khabib.
I think we're underpaid personally. I'm going to be real. I'm not going to say it too much. You know, I mean, Dana said something the other day, and I put it on. It's on my phone. I think it was MMA Fighting actually reposted it, talking about how boxers are overpaid. I asked Dana to box. He said, no. I'm like, why? I wanted to go play. You know, I want to go play baseball. I want to go do other pro sports. I'm an athlete. I grew up playing different different sports at a very high level. We're in a state championship football ring right here. We were 27-1. You know, I come from Grand Valley State University as a wrestler. I want to go do, you know, pro wrestling. You know, I got Brock, Uncle Brock, that's right there watching me. I want to go do all these couple things, but then I have this guy right here acting like a drug dealer telling me I can't go and do this. I want to go make more money for my family. Like, I'm going to be real, like the promoters here, they act like drug dealers sometimes. You know what I mean? They just throw around a couple bucks here and there, and you're like, come here, kid, come here, kid, come here, kid. Here, take this, take this, take this, take this. And if you don't have the will to say no to that stupid you're going to get I mean, I've seen like Terrence McKinney is the same way, and a couple other people, you know what I mean? Like, and even for me to go out there, and then I had to say no a couple times. You know, I had to ignore Dana's call once during the pandemic. I'm chilling, man. I'm skateboarding. Why? Because you know what? You didn't answer my phone call. It's not going to be about that because I'm having fun. I'm doing something for myself, which is cool. And it took a long time to be able to think about myself like that because the company for a long time, they treated me like you know, and that's a lot of underlying stuff.
After a pivotal, in every sense fight with Justin Gaethje, El Cucuy left us forever. He disappeared without a trace, and it's been over 3 years since he's been gone. And most importantly, he won't be back. It was incredibly sad to hear Ferguson continuing down a path that leads nowhere and blindly believing in his return.
5 fights in the title, baby. I'm out.
But the truth is, this is the end, an irreversible, official and honest end. He lost 6 times in a row, in every possible way, from a unanimous decision to a knockout or submission with a sad outcome. Number 1. Hanan Barao. For him, what's important is to give his best each day. He goes out there and does it. It doesn't matter who he's fighting against or who he's training with. It doesn't matter if he's had enough to eat or if he's counting his change to eat a meal. He goes there, he trains, and he gives his best. He's the trademark of a job well done, and I'm very proud to work with him. Because he goes in there and does his job without thinking he's better than anyone. He doesn't just think he's the champion, he behaves like one. Perhaps the new generation of fans, or even the current one, knows little about a fighter like Hanan Barao. When people are asked who, in their opinion, is the most dominant athlete with a huge number of victories, they often answer that it's Khabib Nurmagomedov. But Hanan Barao is a true legend of mixed martial arts and one of the best fighters in the history of the bantamweight division in sports. Way back in April 2005, the Brazilian began his professional career, and ironically, his debut ended in defeat. But then, this guy went on a streak of 32 consecutive victories. Can you imagine that? This is not a joke, not an exaggeration. Hanan really started collecting wins, one after another, and it seemed like he forgot what it was like to lose. In May 2011, he made his debut in the strongest league with a record of 25 wins and 1 loss, and continued to defeat the best fighters of that time. By May 2014, the Brazilian's record was 32 wins and 1 loss. He was the undisputed bantamweight champion with 3 title defenses and topped the pound-for-pound rankings. But then, he crossed paths with DJ Dillashaw.
There was a time where Hanan Barao was in the running for the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Hanan Barao hadn't lost in a decade. He looked sensational. He had beaten world-class fighters, showed spectacular striking and amazing finishing skills. But when TJ Dillashaw stopped Hanan Barao and beat him for the UFC bantamweight title, it changed the career of Hanan Barao. It's a humbling moment for Hanan Barao. He's still an outstanding fighter. He's still a real threat in any weight division that he competes in, but it's a moment in Hanan Barao's career where there's a lot of uncertainty.
That's right, the Brazilian remained at the top for a very long time, but after losing to Dillashaw, he went into a rapid and irreversible decline. He continued to compete until November 2019, and by that time had accumulated 7 losses against 2 wins. He left the sport on a 5-fight losing streak in different weight classes. Which of the fighters listed above do you remember the most? Share your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos, and of course, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. See you soon.